Renewables overtook coal for the first time. A report revealed how to feed 10 billion, and the European Green Capital was revealed. Plus more good news. This week's good news roundup: renewables overtake coal in a historic shift for the first time. Renewables have overtaken coal as the world's leading source of electricity, representing a historic shift in the global energy transition. That's according to fresh analysis from the think tank Ember, which said that the milestone had been reached in the first half of 2025. Ember's research also showed that the increase in wind and solar power outpaced rising global demand for electricity, with solar alone meeting 83% of the new demand. We are seeing the first signs of a crucial turning point, said Ember's senior electricity analyst Małgorzata Wiatros-Motyka. Solar and wind are now growing fast enough to meet the world's growing appetite for electricity. This marks the beginning of a shift where clean power is keeping pace with demand growth. However, the headline figures mask a mixed global picture. While renewables tipped fossil generation into reverse in India and China, Europe and the US both saw increases in the amount of fossil fuels burned to generate electricity. Ember attributed this to weak wind power in Europe and the failure of renewables to keep pace with rising demand in the US. Image Gustavo Fring: can we feed the world without breaking it? Yes, says report. Is it possible to feed almost 10 billion people by 2050 while keeping within planetary boundaries? According to the most comprehensive study of food systems to date, the answer is yes, but not without major changes in how we produce and consume food. The EAT-Lancet Commission's report identifies food systems as the single biggest cause of planetary boundary transgressions and the main driver of biodiversity loss and emissions thereto of the global total. But it doesn't have to be this way. In its report, it said that an urgent reduction in meat and dairy consumption, particularly in the West, could put diets on a more sustainable footing. It also advocates for an increase in the production and consumption of whole grains, fruits, nuts, and vegetables. According to the Commission, its planetary health diet offers a template for a science-backed dietary pattern that promotes human health and protects the planet. Mass adoption of this, it estimates, could deliver returns of 5TN 3.74TN a year through better health, restored ecosystems, and climate resilience. Transforming food systems is not only possible, it's essential to securing a safe, just, and sustainable future for all, said Johan Rockström, the Commission's co-chair. Image Felix Lano: Immune System Discovery wins Scientists Nobel Prize. A trio of scientists who discovered how the immune system attacks infections, but not the body's own cells, have been awarded the Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine. Shumen Sakaguchi from Japan and Mary Brunkow and Fred Rundle, both from the US, identified regulatory T cells, so-called security guards that prevent parts of the immune system from attacking the body. The scientists' work is being used to develop new treatments for autoimmune diseases, cancer, and other diseases. The discoveries have been decisive for our understanding of how the immune system functions, said Ol KMP, chair of the Nobel Committee. Read more: How to Boost Your Immune System. 12 Science-Backed Steps. Image Engine Akia: German city declared European Green Capital. A little-known German city quietly leading the way on air quality, climate change adaptation, and the circular economy, has been declared European Green Capital for 2021. The bragging rights were awarded to Heilbronn, pictured by the European Commission, which launched the initiative to showcase cities making the greatest strides towards sustainable living. Heilbronn was praised for its efforts to cut air pollution, improve water quality, boost active travel, embrace the circular economy, and adapt to climate change. Key to its success, judges said, was engaging and communicating with its citizens. The city will succeed 2025 title holder Vilnius in Lithuania and 2026 title holder Guimarães in Portugal. These are cities that strive to be at the forefront of urban and environmental sustainability, said Jessica Roswell, European Commissioner for the Environment. Cities that simply put lead by example. Image Co and US Solutions: every Saturday uplift your inbox with our weekly newsletter. Positive News editors select the week's top stories of progress, bringing you the essential briefing about what's going right. Sign up: US cities have put the brakes on pro-car planning. The shift away from car-oriented urban planning is accelerating in the US, where cities are increasingly putting more emphasis on walking and cycling. That's according to the Pedestrian Friendliness Index, which ranks US cities for walkability, cycle friendliness, and pedestrian safety. Topping the index was Minneapolis, pictured in the state of Minnesota, followed by Miami, Florida, and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Montgomery in Alabama, which remains defiantly wedded to the car, ranked lowest. After decades when sprawling suburbs reigned supreme and downtowns were seen mainly as business districts or tourist stops, urban life is being redefined, said Maria Gaitier, who led the research for Storage Cafe, a storage company. Across the country, hundreds of miles of bike lanes have been added, light rail systems expanded, and mixed-use multifamily projects have reshaped urban cores. These changes reflect a growing demand for a more comfortable lifestyle, one where errands, work, and leisure are all within easy reach by foot, bike, or transit. Image Western UK Nature Reserve makes history with 10,000 species. A nature reserve that was bought for 10 in 1989 has become the first in the UK to record 10,000 species thanks to the discovery of a moth that imitates a wasp. Wicken Fen in Cambridgeshire reached the milestone after a 6-belted clearwing pictured, which mimics wasps to avoid predators, was spotted at the site. The nature reserve began life as a tiny 2-acre site, but under the National Trust ownership it has grown to 820 acres, incorporating woodlands and wetlands. A concerted effort over time to expand, restore and care for